yeah, just needed a way to. We needed to find a way to win that game. I mean, Air Force played unbelievably well, shot it lights out, but we lacked a fair amount of discipline tonight, which is very, very discouraging. And it proves too that you gotta really be on your game to win, And I think I don't know what our thought process was, but we just the execution and the discipline lacked. I thought quite a few minutes, but with that said, Air Force lit us up like a Christmas tree all night.
Did you get a feeling like they would have something that would create a problem for you? You kind of plug the hole, and then something else would pop up. It seemed like you gave up not only just threes, but threes late in the shot clock. You gave up shots late after switches. Did it just seem like you would fix something and something else would come up?
And we just weren't overly connected. A lot of those, late shot clock, driving, and then you get in a scramble situation, and then we would spectate on those kickouts. And usually that's a strength of ours, is we call it scramble mode, and or fouled late in the shot clock. We fouled Perry. You never want to foul a jump shooter. Never want to do that. And we created a fair amount of offense for them in that regard. But they attacked us off the dribble a lot. It was pretty easy to see their plan. I mean, they were gonna, it had to be a switching game, we felt, and they drove it at kind of some matchups. Madison comes out out of the gates and 7 straight points. It was pretty obvious what they were trying to do. And then we slowed it down at times, but then they find other ways to score. I mean, they shot the three incredibly well, and you got to give them credit for that. But the message to our group is, the mindset has to be right, really, really good, and we know that, and you have to really execute. And otherwise, this is a good league. I mean, you can't just show up and expect to get a W.
Is that your message to the team afterwards, that you have to stay locked in no matter what? Because when you look at it, you're the top three-point defense in the conference. They're the worst three-point shooting team, yet that's how they beat you. Or they get 11 second-chance points. Or if a Huntermer comes in and hits a career high.
Yeah, and that was, again, that's where you got to give them credit. But the second-chance points, those were dagger baskets, I felt. I thought just the timing of those things, the most critical, possession, and they would get a basket, or we would foul, the old rebound, or they'd get an old rebound kick out three. So that's discouraging. And then we couldn't just find enough rhythm offensively. And they do guard well. I mean, that's one thing they do. They kind of disrupt you and keep you off balance, but yeah.
Aside from the good three-point shooting, that Perry had 23 points with majority of the time. Do you feel like that was more of a perimeter defense issue that might need to be fixed, or do you think that was just a kind of good night?
Well, she's legit. I mean, that kid she better than anybody we got. I mean, as far as the pull-up jumper and the driving and all of that, I mean, that kid is. I compared it to Jackson from UNLV. She's that to me, and our kids knew that. We respected her for really all their players, and the compete you have to have, and with the discipline is critical. But we'll go back and evaluate this. We've got a short turnaround, obviously. We're going to play another team that's going to try to drive it down our throats on Tuesday night. So, we'll lick our wounds here for a little bit and come back in and practice tomorrow.
They shot very high, 7 for 9 from 3 in the first half, but that sort of continued. Was there an adjustment you tried to make at halftime to stop that, or do you think it's more tip your cap?
Well, I thought we overhelped a fair amount. That's where I say we weren't connected. And then when the ball did get sprayed, it was just a lot of standing around and watching, And again, that's a mindset type of thing, and doing what you're supposed to do. But, But even 11 threes, I mean, you can look the other stuff. I mean, we fouled, you know, the unnecessary fouling. Again, how many jump shooters did we foul? We fouled a three-point shooter. You know, I mean, so we created a lot of offense for them, and a solid team's going to make you pay.
Was that the disheartening thing for you tonight, is that there's some games you lose and you can look at one thing and this is it, but there were a couple of different things that contributed to it, and they're things you're normally good at.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like discipline. Like, we're a disciplined team, and we execute quite well, but that apparently went out the window, you know, and our mind was somewhere else for quite a few minutes of that game. Let's be honest, and that's the message to the group. I mean, it's 40 minutes of just things that you can control, you know, that we really emphasize and are good at most nights. And this was a night where we just lost our way in quite a few areas.
You get your next game on national TV, and it's the day before National Girls and Women's Sports Day. Your thoughts on getting that stage and really how women's sports are being highlighted, and particularly in your sport right now?
Yeah. Well, I mean, women's basketball and women's sport in general is, there's nothing hotter. I mean, what is? I mean, we're kicking the NBA's butt right now. I mean, people would rather watch that. And it's really neat to see that a lot of people are paying attention. Yeah, even here in Fort Collins, but across the world, and watching the talented women compete. And so for us to be able to be a part of that on Tuesday night, and for eyeballs to be watching our young women compete, I think that's a really, really neat thing. And it just shows how far that I think we've come a long ways, but I think we've come a really long way here recently, right? I mean, we put the foot on the gas, and you know, and a lot of people are a part of it. You know, a lot of different organizations, and you know, not just basketball, but it's fun to watch. So.
Coach, can you talk about Air Force Academy for just a moment? Because you mentioned the things you can control. Something you can't control is how the opponent might play on any given night.
Yeah, they're trying to win too, man. And I thought they really performed. You know, they outperformed us, and that was the bottom line. Like their aggression, their want to as far as the ball. So yeah, you got to tip your cap to them. You know, as much as that stinks to lose or what have you, they just flat out beat us. They whooped us, I feel.
And then, you know, this is an in-state rival, but you probably aren't going to be playing them a lot in the future once you move to the new Pac-12. So what has it meant to you just to have that rivalry now?
Well, I mean, we can still play them. I mean, saves on the budget, you know, to go there, doesn't it? I mean, I imagine we'll still play Air Force. I mean, it's been I think as of late, it's been a really good battle with them. So, you know, Stacy's going to do an incredible job. She did an incredible job tonight. So, don't know why we wouldn't stop playing.